How you doing, everybody? This is Mr. Dark Phoenix here with a very important person right now for a very important game. We're going through Young Justice Legacy. It's coming out very soon, but I want to tell my fans about who you are and what the game exactly represents before we go any further.
Absolutely. Doug Panner with Little Orbit, and we have Young Justice Legacy here.
That's great.
Yes, coming out on the 360, PlayStation 3, Steam for PC, and then we're actually just announcing Nintendo platforms. Also going to be available on the Wii, Wii U, and the 3DS, all coming out in November.
Okay, so it was supposed to come out like in September, and a lot
Correct.
of fans were wondering why the game was pushed back in that department. So,
and that is the to give us time to get the Nintendo platforms out, but we want to get them all out there at the same time.
Okay.
So that it's a little tough news because we know fans have been waiting for it and we want to get it out there. But I think the better news is that it's available on more platforms now, and that's the feedback we've been getting from a lot of fans is, you know, we need more consoles. What about Nintendo? So we've listened, and hopefully we're answering.
Is there any reason for? Because I know there's like Xbox One and PS4. Did you guys want to go into next gen? Or do you want to keep it in this gen?
We're keeping it in this gen. We've been working on the game before those consoles were announced. So you know, we'll tackle that next gen battle probably.
Okay, so
the following year or so.
Okay, so so we have Young Justice here. It's an action RPG.
Correct.
You can have how many players at one time?
It's squad based, so up to 3 players. So you can play singly, with a friend, or with 2 friends, locally or online as well.
Okay, so we have our cast of characters, but we have 12 heroes, we have 12 villains. Now that the show is over, there are a lot of other characters that were introduced that weren't in the build when the game first came out. So are we going to see any other characters from Invasion come into the game?
Great question, not to give away any spoilers, but I will say we have 4 additional characters that are DLC that will be available at launch. We haven't announced who they are, but I think fans are going to be pretty pleased with so it'll be an entire roster of 16.
Okay, so going on from now that we have our 4 secret DLC characters, are we going, when the game does popular, when the game gets out, are we going to see even more? 'Cause I feel like characters like Static Shock and Red Arrow can do really good in this game, so how would they fit in if they're not part of the initial 4 characters? Or even Green Beetle, because he was in the show also, so.
Like I said, don't want to give away any spoilers, but the 4 characters that will be available, they'll fit into the game seamlessly, and I think fans are really going to love it.
Okay, so we have an action RPG, so like we have, like, I'm going to say Superboy's the tank, Artemis would be the archer, so like Zatanna is the spellcaster.
Right.
So does she do like damage over time, or does she like, can she heal, or what's like her specialty abilities? Does she have like more than one, or is she like a straight attack?
She does, and that's a great question. All the characters actually have their own unique different abilities and attacks. Some are more offensive minded, some are more defensive minded, some are more, like you said, team oriented, some are more stealth oriented. So again, perfect example, you mentioned Superboy being the tank. I mean, his attacks are all strength based. He pounds the ground, he picks up boulders, he chucks them. Whereas somebody Artemis, which you mentioned, you know, with the bow, more range. So you can use her depending on how you like to play, kind of stay back and take care of enemies from a distance, where Superboy can knock down the door and go charging in. So we also allow the player to customize the team that they want to go into whatever mission they want. So however, again, teams of 3, however you like to play, whatever characters are your favorite, whatever style fits you, that's how you want to align your team.
Okay. Okay, that's really, so like, all Young Justice, they were all like, in certain other games, I'm getting like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance feel from this game, which is really good.
Right.
So like, certain characters work well together.
Right.
Would people like Miss Martian and Superboy work well together? Or do they have like attacks that would like work well with one another? Or like, pick a specific team of 3, but they all work very well together?
Yeah, and again, personally I feel it's a personal choice, depending on how you like to play and your style of play. All the characters will work together, and that's something about Young Justice that is so great. The show emphasizes teamwork and working together, and we've tried to do that in the game as well. So there's a nice element to it. It's called a Team Hero boost. So when you fill up a certain meter, all 3 of your characters have filled that up, you can unleash a team attack, which is a pretty spectacular attack, and it's really going to clear out a room of enemies and take care of a lot of baddies. So that's a fun teamwork ability of them working together.
That sounds so much fun. I can't even. So the game, like the show, okay.
Yes.
Will the game take place during the show or after? Because there was Miss Martian's wearing her Black Invasion outfit. So
This is, I think, the key to what really excites me and a lot of the fans about the game. So anybody that's a Young Justice fan knows that Season 1 aired. When Season 2 aired, there's a 5-year gap in the Young Justice universe. Fans are going, wait a minute, what happened? These characters got older, they look different, as you mentioned, things have happened. Our game happened in that 5-year gap, so it's placed directly in there. We worked very closely with Brandon and Greg, the show producers and the show writers. They wrote an original story for our game to fit in there, so it was all a grand design from the get-go.
Okay.
So it's very different than the typical watch the show, play the show. This is, you watch the show and then you are into the show in a very different way. You really get into it because you're playing an episode. I call it Season 2.5, basically.
okay, so with other things like that. Speaking of DLC, a lot of other characters. Are we going to see DLC costumes for some of the
You're
characters?
good. You know it. We have DLC costume packs that will be available at launch as well.
Okay, so I believe, like, do characters for their specific attacks, are there trees and skills to upgrade, and how will we go through the upgrade system?
Absolutely. So whatever character you use on a mission, you're going to earn experience. You're going to be able to go back to Mount Justice in between and assign those experience points to certain abilities that you want,
Okay.
which is great because after playing, your Superboy is going to play different to my Superboy because we've developed them differently.
Right.
And the characters that you don't use aren't going to gain that experience, so it kind of helps. You know, it's the risk reward. It's all those decisions that you have to make as a player. Do I want to stick with what I know works, or do I want to get somebody else leveled up because I might need them in a future mission?
Okay, so this game is all kinds of fun. I can't wait.
Yes.
When this game is successful, are you guys going to be thinking about doing branching off into other games like this, maybe with like Teen Titans or maybe the Justice League? Can we play as any of the Justice League members, or it's strictly just about Young Justice?
This game is like the show. It's all about Young Justice. So they're the
Okay.
playable characters. That's their story. It's who they're about. The Batman, Superman, Aquaman, they're all in the game as mentors, and they help give missions and guide, and they're all part of the story as well, but it's really about the Young Justice characters.
Okay, so we're going to have our gameplay shortly. Thank you so much, Doug. I can't wait to show my fans the game. Thank you all so much for watching, and don't forget to geek out and enjoy your lives.